A very good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Uckfield Business Podcast with me, Ian Noble from Uckfield Chamber of Commerce. And joining me today on the pod is our Chamber President, Chris Downing. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well. Good to see you and looking forward to the podcast and looking forward to talk to our guests later on. So all is good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, so we normally start this show with some Uckfield business news. The latest news, just to prove that we are live here just after midday on Thursday, the 9th of October, is that unfortunately a cement mixer has overturned at the Bell Lane roundabout on the A22, and currently the bypass is closed to traffic, which means the town is probably gridlocked as we speak, Chris. So that's a bit of a blow.
Unfortunately, that's what happens, and as we know, Uckfield's a north to south town with either the high street or the bypass. If one gets closed, the other one gets blocked, and it happens very, very quickly. Unfortunately, with a cement mixer which is overturned, that sounds it could take quite a while to sort out as well. So I think everyone's going to have to be very patient and avoid getting frustrated.
I'm just waiting for all the jokes to come in saying, I hope it's not going to be full of cement and it's overturned and there'll be hard setting cement on the bypass and that kind of stuff, and blocking.
Yeah, or it's a concrete situation or something like that, perhaps. Yeah. So
very good. Okay. In terms of other Uckfield business news, we've had a few new outlets opening our high street. Greggs is now up and running in the old NatWest building. It seems to be doing very well. We've got a new Barbers where the old conveniences were down by the station. That's been all kinds of different incarnations over the years, but it's now a barber. And Nigel Woods, who is one of our members, very engaged member of the chamber, he was the first customer. He put it on social media. He was the first haircut, apparently. So well done, Nigel.
Right. Claim to fame.
And then Holland and Barrett, are they open yet, Chris? Do you know Holland and Barrett?
I walked past Tuesday and again close by yesterday. All the facias are up and there's all kinds of hoardings up, but I don't think I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they're open. I've got to go out that way later on to into town, so I'll take another look. It must be, if they're not open, it must be very, very close. But of course, they're directly opposite Lansdowne Health, so we've got head-to-head competition, face-to-face. So that's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing, really.
Could be tricky.
It's good. It's a good or bad thing. I think if you were Lansdowne, you'd be a bit disappointed. Similarly, if you were Trufford, you'd be disappointed with Greggs. But that happens in high streets. And
but I think perhaps it's also a tribute to Uckfield and the local economy in Uckfield and to others in Uckfield. We've got these big names. We've got Domino's, we've got Greggs, we've now got Holland and Barrett. We've got McDonald's just around the corner. There are some big names in the high street. So people want to come here, whether they're the independents or whether they're the chains. It's sure. Recognition of how good we are and how good our town centre is.
Indeed, absolutely, Chris. And then we've talked on this podcast before about the Maiden's Head. We were more concerned when there were temporary lights and the high street was blocked up a little bit, but they've been removed for a little while now. I saw on social media the other day that someone suggested that for Christmas they put a big bow around the Maiden's Head building to brighten it up. I'm not sure what the Chamber of Commerce can do about that, but it's we'll have a little think about it. It's probably not a priority, so whoever put that on social media. Should we go on with the show, Chris? Should we
let's do so. We've got lots to talk about, and
before we do that, producer guy has prepared this lovely slide of late night shopping, as if you didn't need reminding that this is due anytime soon. On Friday, the 5th of December this year, and I've just read for the first time the first draft of the magazine for this year, which is very good as usual. You've got a page in it, Chris. I've got a page in it, and it has all the usual features and everything you can see on the screen there. For the benefit of the podcast listeners, we've got the dancers, fire engine, the choirs, the Hunt the Elf, etc. on the screen. And all those will be back again for 2025. So let's get on with the show. Let's get our guest on. I'm going to mute myself while I cough while you introduce Ed.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Chris. Hi, Ian. How are you?
I was just coughed at the wrong moment then, so that was a pretty poor introduction. Ed Cockill from Uckfield Motor Services. Welcome to the podcast, my friend. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to having a good chit chat.
Excellent.
Absolutely, yeah, be good.
Very good. Chris, do you want to ask Ed the first question about his when he was younger, what he wanted to be when he grew up? Ask him about
that. It's a question we all ask ourselves, isn't it? So, Ed, what were your ambitions? What were your ideas? I know that for most people have been there for a very, very long time, but did you have ideas and ambitions beyond being in the family business?
So no, I had no ambitions of being in a family business when I was younger. I was quite academic at school, did my A levels, went to university, and I was studying motorsport engineering, as you and Ian and Chris, you must well know, as I'm big into motorsport. From a very young age, I was very fortunate. I got to go karting and race all around the country, around Europe, and my dad being my main sponsor. So yeah, I've got a real interest in motorsport, and so yeah, I did a motorsport engineering at university. And
okay.
Yeah, and then I came out of uni, and in motorsport there wasn't a great deal of jobs around at the time. The Formula One teams were cutting back on staff and bits and bobs like that. So I ended up kind of coming back home with my bags packed, moved back in home, and started up my own go-kart team. And that was in the corner of my dad's workshop where we currently are now. And I just kind of organically got more involved in the business, I suppose. And I've always been involved in nuts and bolts and cars. And most of my summers were spent at the business, helping dad and doing whatever I can, because that was a part of life, really, because mum and dad were setting up this business and they were so intrinsic in the business. Me, Harry and Hannah went and spent our holidays at the business. So we've always had a love of cars, and so yeah, it just went from there, really.
So can I pick you up on something you said there, which was really interesting? And I knew you raced and things and had karts and all the rest of it, but you mentioned about F1 teams. Did you have ambitions to join an F1 team and be in the pits or something at that level? Or
yes, I did. I really did, and I think also what put me off the kind of motorsport Formula One teams is I kind of just wanted to be traveling around the world and working on the Formula One, the glitz and glamour. But I mean, that's only 10% of it. The rest of the team's actually back at the factories doing all I suppose not the hard work, but doing the hard work and designing the cars and stuff like that. And I realized very quickly I probably wasn't going to be traveling around the world at a young age, which is it is a young man's game, I suppose Formula One and traveling around the world. It's not a family life sort of world, is it really? So yeah, so that's why that kind of got quashed quite quickly. But it gave me a good back in, and obviously engineering is a fantastic thing to have, isn't it? It's a very logical and has applied to business quite well.
Very good, very good. So as you say, your mum and dad started the business, and you, Harry and Hannah, have sort of taken it on now as the directors of Uckfield Motor Services. And you've got quite a big team, haven't you, there now? You were telling us pre-show that you've got a management structure and quite a lot of staff. So tell us a little bit about that, Ed.
So when I joined, when I was 22, I suppose I was 22, Harry joined pretty similar sort of time to me, but he actually did his apprenticeship in mechanics. And so he's actually got formal qualifications in being able to fix cars, whereas I obviously haven't. Even though I've got a form of engineering degree. But so it was mum, dad, me and Harry, and a couple other mechanics, and it's organically grown from there. Obviously, we only had the one unit at the time. We've now got 3 units. We've gone from kind of 3,000 square foot to 10,000 square foot worth of premises. Mm-hmm. We're now 2 MOT bays, 13 ramps, a wheel alignment bay. And so there's now in total there's 21 of us. And in the last kind of 2 to 3 years, we've put a management team in place, because what we were finding was it was very much pending on me and Harry being here, that we couldn't both step out of the office at the same time. It always had to be one or the other. And it would also then make it very stressful for the other person when the other person went off. So, we've got this management team in place now, who do a superb job. We have a full trust in them being able to step away for a few days, which is really good. But it's taken a while to get there, and it's been hard work along the way, as you can quite imagine.
Indeed, it's fantastic. And Hannah, she's the finance director, is that right? She looks after the numbers.
Yeah, she's the most important person in the business, and she pays my wages every month, so I've had to be nice to her. But yeah, she does all the account side of stuff. She's superb with money. She brings me and Harry in check because me and Harry do like to spend. So she very much brings us in check.
She calls the tune. That's fantastic. Now, Chris, you've your role in life is a business mentor, and so personal development is important to you. Do you want to talk to Ed about that side of things for his business and the like, and the development of people?
Well, yeah. Just one aside. By very quirky coincidence, my car is in Ed's workshop today, having a service and MOT, and the phone just rang, and it said Uckfield Motors. So I'm assuming it's ready to pick up. And I then read a message. It's past its MOT. There's something wrong with the tyre, but anyhow, that's beside the point. But a bit of fantastic planning. They're doing my car on the day we're doing the podcast. So how about that for fantastic planning? But nonetheless, I really do. I do admire Uckfield Motors and Ed and Harry and Hannah for what they've done, because I've used them. My wife and I have had our cars being serviced and MOT, etc., for a number of years now. We're talking about sort of 15, 16 years. We always get a fantastic service. We always get a very good response. Their prices are very, very competitive, and I've seen the growth they've had as well, and the sort of transition from Ed's parents running and managing the business to Ed and his brother and sister run the business. So I think the development, and they are it's a classic family business, and of course there are so many family businesses which are as good, some perhaps not as good, but that attention to service, the attention to detail, the competitive prices, the welcoming smile you get from the chaps on the front desk, the nothing's too much trouble.
Oh, Bradley.
That's good. That's good, positive. That's good, positive business, and it's relationships, it's knowing people, it's working with people that helps develop a business. So it's something I always say to the clients I work with, the mentoring clients I have. Service is just so important. Make sure your customers your number one priority. Very, very important. You've got to look after them. You've got to cherish them, because there's plenty of competition out there as well. There's plenty of other people who are chasing the business that you've got. Be it with Ed, be it with my business, be it with other businesses as well. The competition is intense nowadays, particularly with the economy not doing well. The competition has got heavier and more. It's just got more competitive. So I do admire what you've done. I think you're a very good case study for growing and developing independent businesses in Uckfield, especially family businesses. There are lessons to be learned from what you've done, and I'm always happy to talk about a business I know in Uckfield, and I'm often referring to Uckfield Motors in so doing, by way of an example of how it can be done, how it should be done, and success that can be achieved as well. So that's great. Yeah, and good. I hope I get a very, very good price this afternoon when I go and collect my car. I think
do you know what, Chris? You're not going to get any discount for what you've just said, but they're kind words.
Well, I don't know about that. That's perhaps that's the end of the relationship. We're talking about relationship and customers happy.
And it's really nice to hear. It's really nice to hear because
it's sincerity.
And yeah, exactly. But the thing is, the whole grounding of this has come from my mother and father. It's, my dad. Yes, he is not here on a day-to-day basis, but he is still involved in the business, as his mum. I speak to my dad every single day on the way home from work, because he's not here as often. He's enjoying life. He's got boats. He does a lot of cycling. He's just enjoying life because he gave up so much when we were younger. And I say to people, when I was younger, me and my brother and sister, we didn't see dad because he'd normally go to work before we get up, and he'd come home after we go to bed, because he was working 14, 15, 16-hour days to provide for us, build the business up. So, and then obviously mum was then taken footful because she was bringing up 3 probably gobby children. So everything, all kind of the way my Harry and Hannah's work ethics and everything has come from our parents. It's as simple as that. And so none of this would have been possible without mum and dad. And I like to think we're doing them proud in what we're doing, and kind of improving the business, not improving it, but just building it up, getting it bigger. And so it's hats off to them, really.
Yeah, and I think that's a great commendation, a great comment on family businesses, and one route I can understand. I can appreciate and recognise your comments about not being around when the kids were younger, and I had a similar situation, but it also tells me how hard it is to run a small business, how hard it is to run a family business. You can't work 9 to 5. You want it to work, you want it to be successful. And again, I tell my clients this: you've got to find the extra hours. You've got to make some sacrifices. It's investment in the future. It's if you want to achieve success, you've got to put energy and effort into it, which I know your parents did, and I'm sure you and your brother and sister do. You can't take it for granted. You can't be complacent. It's just so important. I think people do. Most people in business recognise there are some who think it's a free ride, but it's not a free ride running your own business.
I think we'd all agree with that, Chris. Ed, I wanted to ask you, because I saw online the other day that a couple of your people had been through some training and development, and you were quite rightly shouting about that on social media. How do you develop yourself and your team? Is there a plan? How does it work in a business like Uckfield Motor Services?
So I've always been a big reader. I am just interested in anything and everything and how stuff works and learning myself. And I feel the problem is with the apprenticeships in car mechanics are very good, that it gets a technician or someone who has an apprenticeship up to a certain point. It gets them to their level 3 qualification, which means in theory they're a fully qualified mechanic. There's no such thing as a fully qualified mechanic technician these days. The cars are now so complicated. To put it in perspective, to work on a car these days, you have to be a kind of mechanical engineer. You have to know a bit of plumbing because of all coolant systems. And it's so complicated. Electronics, computer software. So it's not just one part that you have to know anymore. And so the only way we can develop our technicians, and all our technicians are quite young. I mean, I'm one of the eldest here at 37 years old. So we have training programs for them. We send them on courses like we saw the other day. And I've got a folder. I've got a folder of all their certificates, and I think we counted them up the other day between the 10 technicians. There's like 80, 90 certificates between them, and all various different subjects, whether it's air conditioning, whether it's petrol, engine management.
How do they do that? Is they go away to do that, or is it online? How does it work?
No, it's all off-site, so it's all sent away. A lot of them are done up there's a training centre, a Bosch training centre up in Denham. So obviously they're away from work for 2-3 days. So and it's obviously all paid for. It's part of their CPD, isn't it? Really, to be honest with you. And we're just, and it's the same with the front of house staff and the management team. They all go on certain courses for what they're doing, whether it's leadership and management, whatever it is. We have a good one which is non-technical jargon busting for the front of house. So because obviously sometimes when we speak about cars to each other, between us family,
like language, is it?
It's exactly it. And so one of my big things in the last few years is trying to not dumb it down, but trying to get it across to the customer in a way they understand. Because I'll go, oh yeah, your DPF is full up. You don't have a clue what a DPF is, do you? But so he's trying to, the art of good sales, I suppose, is trying to explain it to the customer in a way that they will understand and feel like they're getting value out of it.
Okay. And Chris, as a valued customer of Uckfield Motor Services, you would go along with that?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's important. A well-managed staff, a well-motivated staff, a well-trained staff. It's all part of running a business, all part of having a successful business, and it provides sort of guarantees on quality. It provides guarantees on service. It provides sort of visibility to the customers as well on the standards you work to and what you can deliver. And that is part of growth. That is part of developing. So it's very, very important to have that. And I've seen the certificates down there, and I've seen what the staff do and how they respond. So yeah, I've seen what Ed has just explained as a customer. So yeah,
you can paper the walls with them, can't you? You got that many. You can paper the wall. In the top right-hand corner there, for the benefit of the podcast listeners, there's a picture of the three of you. I think you're dressed up quite smartly for an industry event. So you've won awards yourself, haven't you, Ed? Tell us a little bit about those.
So yes, we've won quite a few national awards now, which has been always nice, whether it's been kind of customer public voted or whether it's been kind of peer-to-peer in the industry. So that was the latest one. I think that was in April. Up at it's like a network we're part of, and there's like 400 probably of the top garages in the country, and we were awarded like the #1 garage, which was really nice. And that came from kind of industry professionals as well, so that obviously means quite a bit as well, because it's you kind of people you know and people you look up to in the industry who are voting for you to win an award, which is really,
Brilliant.
really good. And obviously we won a couple of Uckfield Business Awards along the way as well, which is always nice.
Very good. Very good. That's a nice little segue into talking about those for next year, actually, because we're about to soft launch the Uckfield Business Awards very soon. We'll be looking for sponsors again for 2026. And although you've won categories, I don't think you've won the overall thing yet. So you never know. 2026 might be your year.
No, I think Kevin Markwick, he beat us to it last time. I think the Uckfield Cinema last time we was in the top business one. So.
All right, that was a while ago. That was 2018, I think. So
a few years back.
There we go. That's good. We got a little bit of background noise. That must be from your workshop, which is fine.
It's the ramp in the background. Yeah,
it just proves that we're live and it's all unrehearsed. So that's all good. That's all good. So you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, Ed, and we're delighted about that. You also, with Chris and I, sit on the Chamber Executive Committee yourself, and we're grateful for your input and your volunteering there. But why the Chamber? Tell us, why did you bother with the Chamber of Commerce?
So it's a funny story. The Chamber of Commerce is my father. I suppose is a bit introvert. He doesn't like the kind of networking side of stuff. And my brother's pretty similar as well. Whereas I'm quite extrovert and I'll talk to anybody. But we kept getting bugged years ago, and this is many years ago, probably about 12, 13, 14 years ago, about coming to the Chamber. And eventually I gave, and I think it was Ian Blackalla back then. He kept bugging us, and I turned up, and I was only 23 at the time. And it was back then a bit of an old boys club back then. And so we joined up. I went to the events, and I'd like to say, obviously, since Ian has taken over, it has, the demographic of the people there has dramatically changed. There's a lot more people my age, I would say, now who attend these events. And what's good about it for me is obviously we get to network, which is always fantastic. But you get to hear about what's going on around Uckfield from a business perspective, because you always hear what's going on from a personal perspective around Uckfield, but you don't get to hear much about business, so that's always good. And then obviously being part of the exec, we really kind of, I suppose, get a voice of, it's a bit like the high street, for example, isn't it? The one we've had going on in the high street, and how we feel like we've actually made a difference in getting something sorted for everyone in Uckfield, which is quite a good feeling, I suppose. Yeah, good way of putting it. Yeah, absolutely. Good, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think interesting to hear what Ed has to say about the way it's changed, and it's certainly changed for better. I'm always the first to recognise that a very large part of the change we've had in recent years is Ian, the great job that Ian does as a director, and his sort of heart and soul that he puts into it, and that's tremendous. And it's certainly, I've been a member of the Chamber for quite a long time, and recognise the better dynamics we have nowadays, the different people we have nowadays, and the more energy the Chamber has, and the more influential it is as well. We had all the issues with the Maiden's Head. Well, there was the Chamber sitting there with the town council, district council, and the county council talking about it. Being the voice of business in Uckfield, and a difficult situation with the Maiden's Head, and there's more work to be done in the future. But the Chamber was listened to on that, and we were effective on that, and we were heard on that, and I think that's a tribute to what we do and how we do it. So I think that's great. Can I just move on from there and ask about CSR, corporate social responsibility? I know you do quite a lot on that as well. Perhaps you could just, Ed, just tell us what you do and how you involve yourselves within the community and how you give back to the community. So it's something that we didn't really delve too much into, and it was probably because I was a little bit younger, and you kind of get to an age where you should really feel like you should start giving back to the community. So the last couple of years we've got a lot more involved with Children Respite Trust, fantastic charity, and I think it's probably helped that me, Harry and Hannah have we've all got young children. So yes, we've started doing a fair bit of fundraising for them, be it a coffee morning. We did a charity bike ride, a static bike ride for 12 hours, which sounds as horrible as it was. And it's all about, I suppose, doing what we can because we've got a platform as a business, and we've got 6,000 customers on our base, and it's getting that voice out there that there is something bigger in the world, isn't there, than just what we're doing. Yeah,
indeed. Yeah. And again, for the benefit of the podcast listeners, we've got some pictures here of the team. one out in the countryside and one outside the business premises. So these are team building events, Ed, that are linked to corporate social responsibility, are they?
No, so the bottom left one is the static bike ride. The actual bottom right one was our last work outing about 2 weeks ago when we went paintballing. So,
okay, brilliant.
So we're talking about, that's actually probably going back to previous questions about all the staff and everything. We do a lot. We probably go out 4 or 5 times a year as a collective of the weekend and do stuff that the staff want to do. They wanted to go paintball this time. We went karting a little while ago. We went to Go Ape. They're all quite active people, so
they choose what to do they?
Yes. So we have a budget within reason, and they choose what they want to do. Like a Christmas party, they choose because they're quite young lads, and they don't want to always be sitting around a table, so they choose what they want to do within reason, obviously.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit more about the charities that you support? Are the charities, are they Uckfield charities? Are they East Sussex charities? Are they national? Who and what are they?
Obviously, Children's Respite Trust are a very local charity, aren't they?
Oh yes, cool. Yeah.
And I've done a fair bit of fundraising for Ben, which is a automotive industry charity that helps people in their times of need. It's a lot to do with mental health, because mental health,
right? Yeah,
mental health. It was a benevolent fund, isn't it? It's called, and they do a lot for people in times of need in the automotive industry, because the automotive industry is obviously mainly men, which is obviously changing over the time. But obviously there's a lot of thing around men and suicide rates and mental health around men. And so they do a lot with that. They also help in times of need. Say, for example, you get diagnosed with something which means you cannot work, you haven't got any insurance. They will help you, be it with funds or something like that, to help you carry on life when a crisis happens, basically. So I've done a fair bit of fundraising for them as well.
Yeah.
So
good to help. Good to hear you're helping people in your own industry as well. That you're giving back overall, but also giving back to what's given you a career, and the sector that your business is in. So the recognition of that is very important.
Very good. Ed, I'm going to ask you one final question, really, that I often ask people. It's a difficult one to answer. What advice would you have given to your younger self at, say, 16, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now. Don't party so much when I was at university. No, I suppose when I was 16, is the problem is with, and this is going to be a bit up against the schools, is follow what you actually want to do. Like my brother was a prime example. He wasn't very academic at school. He's very clever in his own right, but not academically. And
if you're watching this, Harry, you're clever left.
And the education system can be very much pointed towards, you've got to go and do your A levels, you've got to go and do your university. And I believe that you should just follow what you want to do and what path you want to go down. And we've always been put off the trade industries, and the trade industries are going to be very big in the next few years, because I think a lot of jobs, there's going to be a massive labour shift anyway because of certain stuff coming out like AI and bits and bobs like that. So I think if you're very clever, you can still get into a trade job, because you can work your way up a ladder very quickly, and there is some very good earning jobs in our industries. So I would just say follow your passion. And
you were educated at Uckfield College, were you? Or?
No, I was Heathfield. So I'm Heathfield born and bred.
Heathfield, okay.
So I did my A levels. I went the traditional route. My brother didn't. My sister didn't as well, really. So, but I went the traditional route because that was the said thing to do, wasn't it?
Indeed, it was. But I think we're glad you're in Uckfield now, of course, and giving so much back and doing so well. So, as Chris said earlier, many congratulations to you and your team.
Definitely.
Appreciate you joining us today. Is there anything else that you would like to add that we haven't covered, Ed, this afternoon?
No. I think we've gone over quite a good amount.
Okay, that's great. Well, Ed, stay with us, won't you? We're just going to wrap this podcast up. We've got another 5 minutes or so, and talk about some of the chamber events that are coming up in the next week or two. So as soon as next Thursday, we have our next networking breakfast This is a brand new venue for us at Trading Boundaries, about 4 or 5 miles from Uckfield, and that's Thursday the 16th of October, and booking is still open. And just before we went live with this show, we heard about some local sort of I was going to say celebrities. That's not quite right, but local people that you would have heard of that would like to come along to this. So come along, turn up if you're not booked in already. We've got space for a few more. And then the next slide.
I'm going to say Trading Boundaries is a very interesting venue. It's a little outside the. I know it's outside the town. It's a little unusual in its format, its decor, its layout, and it's well worth coming to for that reason, if nothing else. But principally come for the breakfast, because they're always great events. There are always plenty of networking, plenty of people there, plenty of people to talk to.
Very good. Thanks for that endorsement, Chris. That's very good. Yeah, Trading Boundaries joined us as a member of the Chamber as a result of the last Business Awards, actually, which was great. Now, unfortunately, with this next one, Disability Confident Breakfast, we decided just this morning, due to a low take-up, we've had to cancel this event, rather postpone it. We'll launch something else early in 2026, which is a real shame. But that one has now been cancelled. So let's move on. We have our autumn members meeting. So these are our bi-monthly members meetings. And the next one is on Wednesday, the 12th of November at the Picture House. This is the second time in my time of being involved in the Chamber in about 7 or 8 years that we've done this. We have a meeting in Screen 2 of the cinema. Kevin Markwick will be there to talk about his cinema. And we have the local police inspector to speak at this event as well. And there's been quite a few issues in the town in recent times, so it'll be good to hear from the police force. And then we'll all trot over the road to the restaurant for a burger and chip supper. So I'm really looking forward to that evening. And it's really something different. This is for our members only. So we subsidise the cost, and it's just £10 for members. We have another virtual networking event. Now, if you're not a member of the Chamber and you'd like to come along to this one, you'd be very welcome. You just need to contact me at the Chamber for the link to join. And that is on Wednesday, the 5th of November for an hour between 9 and 10 a.m. Members will get sent the link automatically. And then we have our Christmas Gala dinner. We're going to do this, however, in November this year, on the 28th of November. It's a Friday night. Buxton Park Hotel will be decked for Christmas. We've got a brilliant magician joining us, and we've got a disco. I nearly said live disco, but it's a disco. But it is live, obviously. It's not made up until midnight. So it should be a really nice evening. So if you haven't booked your place for that yet, members only again, then we'd love to hear from you. Just drop me an email. And is that it? Is that the last one? Yeah, that's the last one.
Seems like it.
Yeah. So we, as you see, we haven't rehearsed this at all. Our next show will be on the 20th of November, and Henry Adekoya from Revive Health Fitness will be our guest on that show. I don't know if you're joining me for that one as well, Chris.
I'm hoping to.
That's good. It's the day after my birthday. I just thought I'd mention that. And that's at midday. So, Ed, thanks again for being our guest today. It's been great chatting with you. And we'll see you in person, of course, very soon at a Chamber meeting. Chris Dowling, thank you for coming on with me.
And it's been a pleasure. Please take part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you to our producer guy. Thank you to our producer guy, Gordon Manklow, for all the hard work you do in the background. So, without further ado, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.